This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Young Jarek would love to take my order.
Hi.
He works at the coffee shop just up the street.
Morning.
He's happy and annoying with a smirk the size of Texas. He's my coffee enemy.
Would you like a mochaccino? Or perhaps a cappuccino? Or maybe a frappuccino?
Said Jarek wearing the chinos. All I really want is a cup of coffee. So strong the spoon stands up, just a cup of coffee. All I really want is a cup of coffee. Give me a friggin' cup of coffee, Jarek.
Photo, this is Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. This is Rocky. I have a complaint. I'm wondering if you have a minute or two to listen.
I can transfer you to a manager.
Aaron, you're the one I want to talk to. You're in electronics, no?
Right.
Okay. Well, I bought my Nintendo 64 14 years ago, and it's not working, and blowing in it's not seem to be helping one bit. I can't play Mario Kart. I usually am Luigi, but I can't use him at this time. Wondering if I could get a refund or a replacement Nintendo 64, Aaron. Aaron with an E.
Oh, goodness.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Tony Regazzi. I usually push your cart. I wanted to tell you this for a while, but I got a crush on you. I've only been hit by 4 cars. Maybe you could push me into a car, Aaron.
Who is this?
This is Tony Regazzi.
Hi, hello, Coffee Nation, and welcome to episode 3 of the Coffee with Friends podcast. I'm your host, Carl Coffee. With me is first-time guest Michel Bayley. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well. I'm sipping tea because I'm not a coffee guy, but I'll drink some coffee for you.
Michel, Coffee with Friends podcast, episode 3. This episode is called Journey to 50,000 Tweets. We'll talk about that later. This show is a part of the Overtime Sports Network. You can check us out at otsportsnetwork.com or on Twitter at _OTSN. Mike, what has been the highlight of your Wednesday?
The bowl of soup I just ate, if we're being honest. I mean, it was a pretty awful day at work, but, you know, I got some soup in my system just about 5 minutes ago. My mouth might have been a little bit too hot, but, you know, I'm used to the heat.
This show is broken up into 4 topics. I bet you can't. We have an 8-1. The category is liquor. We have another 60-second challenge. And then the main topic. Mike, I'm not sure what you drink. I don't even know if you drink alcohol. But you're familiar with liquor, right?
Yes, sir.
And I've narrowed it down to 8. And we're going to go. And, you know, I kind of broke up dark rum and light rum and then Scotch whiskey and bourbon whiskey. So those guys will be battling each other. We'll get to the first matchup. But, Mike, this is a sports podcast. Did you know that?
I did know that, yeah.
And, Mike, my first topic, it's called I Bet You Can't. Because I don't think you can, you know?
Okay.
I bet you can't tell me the Detroit Lions will make the playoffs this year.
I can't. I cannot fucking do that. I'm sorry. I don't know if profanity is allowed, but I'm... Fuck no.
It's fine.
No way.
You know, I have a perfect score on the I bet you can't. So, once again... It's a short segment. So, Mike, we talked about it earlier. Liquor. And 8-1 is just a single elimination tournament to determine the best. We had Adam Sandler movies, sandwiches, holidays, and now we have liquor. The first matchup is vodka versus gin. And, Mike, I get one veto. I can use it any time before the championship. But this first matchup, who do you got winning?
Vodka.
Why?
Because I like vodka, and... I throw up every time I drink gin, and nobody wants to see me sloppy drunk because everybody's seen it, and gin does that to me. So I would rather stay nice, clean, and drink some extremely cheap Polish vodka. My favorite up in college happened to be what we would call Crystal Palace, also known to the basic people as Crystal Palace. It was $9 for a half gallon, and
Good
it
God.
could get 3 guys drunk.
$5 for a half gallon, Mike. You know, Mike, I used to dabble with the flavored vodkas. Do you stay away from those now?
I do.
Yeah, they get you so sick, you know.
I can't. On my 17th birthday, my friends made me drink an entire pint of Smirnoff Blueberry, and I ended up getting alcohol poisoning that night, and I haven't been able to drink it since because even the smell of it makes me want to projectile everywhere.
That's how I am with UV Blue. And Mike, blueberry vodka used to be my drink, man. Stolly, blueberry vodka, that was my drink. I'm with you, though. All right, so Mike, you said you had a bad Wednesday. So what was the low point of your day? Just curious.
Crushing my finger between a pipe fitting, a steel pipe fitting, a pipe wrench, and a steel wall. Because I did some pretty grave damage to my finger.
Thanks. All right.
And customers don't really like it when you're shouting profanities in their residence because you think you broke your finger. So I'm sure I'll get docked and pay for that.
All right, so Mike, I don't know if you know about this show, but it's my guests are kind of at a competition, and the best guess it's in something called the Throne of Awesome, and you can earn a seat by winning challenges. And I have a challenge. We're going to call a pizza shop. And you're going to have to stand in line for 60 seconds if you want to do it. But every other word you say has to be a cough. So you can say anything you want. But every other thing that comes out of your mouth has to be a cough. And if you can stand in line for 60 seconds, you win the challenge. Are you up for it?
I'm up for it.
All right, let's see if we can get a hold.
Fernandez in your picture, can I help you?
Hi. I wanted... Sorry. To order sorry.
You did order?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put you on hold for 1 second, okay? I'm gonna check my oven. One second.
Okay.
I'm losing. That was good, Mike. Should we wait for him?
I mean, I think I'm going to make the 60 seconds.
Yeah. We're going to have to go with a ruling if the hold counts. I'll just hang up on him because... Well, is he still there? I don't know. Whatever, we can keep going. Not bad, Mike.
When 60 seconds is up, hang up, though. Because I feel bad for this guy.
I think he's off. Your coughs are way too long, dude.
Fernandez in your picture?
Oh.
Hello, I didn't mean to hang up on you, sir. Sorry. It was an accident.
It's... Okay.
Did you order?
I'm still...
I can't.
I'm really...
He's gone. I can't do it. I can't. I got rid of it. I think he's gone. Are you gone? Fernando's? Okay. Successful challenge.
I sounded like a guy who was super high trying to order pizza right after a bong rip. I sounded like I called them and just finished taking a bong rip, and they were, as soon as they answered, it caught me by surprise. So that was my rationale behind it.
I don't know if you listened last week. We had Alex Shore on, and his challenge was to stay on the line for 60 seconds, but he couldn't talk about anything that has to do with pizza or anything like that. So he was asking the guy his name and if he remembers him from high school, and he got the 60 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Yours was good, though. Yours was good. All right, Mike, what do you got? Tequila versus moonshine.
Oh, Jesus. Moonshine. Because tequila doesn't sit well with me either. So,
Mike, I have a veto. I'm not sure if I want to save it. I have a story about moonshine, if you want to hear it.
Yeah, of course.
So I was, this is going to sound bad. I might lose listeners, but there was a party for some guy who beat cancer, like a beat cancer party, like an FU cancer. We're going to have a party, right? And I wasn't making a lot of money at the time, so I would often just take stuff from my parents' house. And it was usually vodka. But for some reason they had moonshine. And I drank it like vodka at this party. And it was a lot of people from the guy's church. So it wasn't a big party crowd. And let's just say I got on top of like a bench and I just started like giving speeches. I don't know what I was saying. You can ask. I won't say their names, but the people were there who remember. I haven't drank moonshine since then. That was 2009. So I'm going to use the veto mic. Tequila is going to move on. Sorry. I had to do it.
It's quite the... I don't blame you. I would have too. The poor guy just beat cancer.
Yeah. It's way... I mean, I can tell you stuff off the air, but there's more to it, but I'm not going to... I don't... Yeah. Anyways. So we're cruising along. This is a sports podcast. We try not to go on too long. People have short commutes. We like to kind of entertain. We don't want an hour-long show. But we have a main topic. And Mike, I looked at your Twitter. And what is your Twitter name? You can tell everyone.
My Twitter name is @OrbisDux, ORBISDUX.
And what does that mean?
That is a really, really stupid name that I got when I was super into the Illuminati and Freemasonry and all of that absolutely asinine stuff.
Okay.
I was going through Google Translate, and I was Google translating different words, and I Google translated from English to Latin New World Leader, and it came out Orbis Dux. And I said, that's going to be a great Twitter name. So I changed it to that because I said, nobody's going to have a clue what the hell this means. It's got ducks in it. People are confused. What does an orb have to do with a duck? And I knew the meaning behind it, and I thought it was going to be brilliant. I thought it was going to be a killer, and I think it's kind of put a damper on my Twitter because nobody knows what the hell it means or who the hell I am. But the story runs deeper than that. I was so committed to the name that when we were very, very intoxicated on college game day at Central Michigan University, I said, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to get my Twitter name tattooed on me. So I went, probably would have blown a .20 and got my Twitter name tattooed on me. So it will never change because it will never leave my body. And my mom hates that tattoo, and everyone around me hates that tattoo, but I am sticking to it.
That's pretty deep. You see your appearance, you say, I've hung out with you, the way you act. There's such a deep intellectual meaning to your Twitter name, which I find kind of cool, to be honest. There you go. So, all right, anyways.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was doing some research. I go, okay, I got Mike Bayley, and he tweets a lot. What's the number?
I think I looked. I think I'm at 48.7 or something.
48,700 and change. So you're close to 50,000. Hence the name of this show. And it's fascinating to me. None of my Twitters are close to that. So the first question, Mike, how much dedication to tweeting does it take to get this high?
Part of it is chasing this one viral tweet, because I get all these ideas and I'd like to think I'm a funny person, and it doesn't really translate to Twitter. But I think if I just keep giving them content, one of them's going to catch. And a lot of it is just me talking about absolutely nothing, voicing my opinion on women, saying stuff that I know is going to pander to someone from a tweet I saw earlier. Sometimes I'm intoxicated and I'm talking about how I never pull out.
Jeez.
The range varies amongst all spans. I tweet about the Lions on Sunday when I'm upset with them. I tweet about blondes. I tweet music lyrics. I tweet deep, depressing, emotional things that come into my head. I tweet things that I think are funny. I tweet nothing. I tweet stuff that means absolutely nothing sometimes. So people are scrolling through their Twitter timeline and they see it and go, what in the hell does that even mean? What is that supposed to mean? And they sit there and they take, I imagine somebody reading it and going, what the hell does that mean? And they get to take an extra 5 seconds to a minute and a half trying to decipher something that means absolutely nothing. And that makes me chuckle inside because I know at least one, if not more people stop and say, what the hell is that? And you've just given me more time than I deserve.
All right. So, Mike, we both grew up in Southeast Michigan, and we both used to play in the same football league. And you know what? The amount of things we have in common probably stop there. We're very different people. But I think we both appreciate each other's wit. And that's why I have always liked you. Because you have a quick wit, and some people are kind of like that. Mike Bayley, he's an interesting guy, and I have to unfollow him. You know, he just goes too far on Twitter. But man, I always digged it. I'm just telling you straight up. You don't hold back, and that's what I think Twitter should be. Whatever's on your mind, you just tweet it, right?
Right.
So okay. There's Twitter and there's other social media platforms. You have to have some good stories. You have to have met people through social media. And I want to hear about some of the best stories. Give me like 2 or 3 of them.
Can I backtrack for a second and explain? First of all, I'd like to tell you that I appreciate you understanding my wittiness.
Of course, yeah, say whatever.
And another thing is, I think people will see my tweets. I've met plenty of people who see me online and on Twitter and go, I'm an asshole, I'm an idiot, I'm this, I'm that. But they don't understand the translation until you meet me in person and you get to see the things vocalized and everything that goes with it. Twitter is just black and white, you're reading the statement. But you really get to experience what I'm thinking when you're with me. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of people who meet me outside of social media on accident at a bar or here, there. They see me, they know me from social media, and then they'll come back to me while we're talking, and they go, I get you now. Like, I get it. And I've had people who had hated me from my social media persona that loved me in person numerous times. But that's just that. And stories and people I've met, I've got to say, Twitter has done tremendous things for me when it comes to women. I'll just say it. Twitter and the DMs on Twitter have done so much for me. Instagram, not so much, because my looks don't seem to translate very well in photographs. But my wittiness, my funniness, my lack of caring has caused a lot more interest to be generated than normal. So I've met women through Twitter that I met online, that then I meet in person from here and from other states, other countries even. It has done so much for me. I've met more people through Twitter that I've ended up meeting in person. Almost every follower I have, I know. Personally, I've met them or I've had a conversation with them outside of on the Twitter platform. So I can say that. It's not just numbers of people who don't know me. Almost everybody who follows me knows me. So that's really, I'm trying to think, the most interesting on Twitter to me has probably been one of my favorite music artists who I ended up meeting on the other side of the world. After I met him in person, he started to acknowledge me on Twitter, slowly but surely. He'll go unnamed because we're not friends anymore.
Oh,
but that's for a whole nother story. But when he started to acknowledge me, all the people around me that called me a liar, said I never met him, never hung out with him, wasn't friends with him, started to see him retweeting my tweets and retweeting this and that and quoting it and commenting back to me. And then everybody got this new kind of respect for me. And then everybody's opinion changed. And now it's, can I get them backstage at the show? Can I do this? Can I do that? And no, I cannot do that for you. That's just one of the things that's happened for me on Twitter. Twitter has caused so many amazing things in my life to happen.
Well, let me ask you this. Dark rum or light rum?
Is Jack Daniels considered dark?
No, that's Tennessee whiskey.
I
didn't even include
Oh, no,
that.
rum. Yeah, like Captain Morgan.
Yeah,
dark rum. Not Bacardi or anything. Dark rum.
Bacardi is light rum.
Yeah, so
gotcha.
Like dark rum. I like dark rum.
And Scotch whiskey versus bourbon whiskey. And I am aware I didn't include Tennessee whiskey like Jack Daniels. I know. I probably should have, but I didn't because
okay.
I'm not a fan. So Scotch versus bourbon.
Bourbon.
All right. So our final four is vodka tequila because of the veto, dark rum, and bourbon. So, Mike, you kind of talked about the viral thing, and that was my third question. And I've seen your pin tweets. You had that Farmer Jack one, which was pretty good, and now you had that one in the snow. How many views does that have where you walk around in your bathing suit in the snow?
I think it's like close to 8,000 or something.
It's not bad.
But I realized in retrospect, I should have... wording is everything on Twitter.
Yeah.
And had I worded that tweet in the snow better, it would have gotten way more views because it would have translated a lot better. Should I have said, like, white people do the craziest shit or something? But I made it way too specific when I said Michiganders because it only translated to the people in Michigan. Mm-hmm. Other people could relate to it, but it only translated to the people in Michigan. And the retweets and the favorites don't really do justice of how much other things came from it. Because I had people from other states and stuff quoting the tweet and saying they said one girl said, "This is Owen Wilson if he was from Michigan." I don't know if that's supposed to mean I sound like him, I talk like him. That's not my intention. I'm not the biggest Owen Wilson fan. But there was that, and that girl got hundreds of favorites on a quoted tweet of that tweet of mine. And like the Farmer Jack one, there was tons of other quote that started a whole string of things. It was such an eclectic thing for so many people from Michigan about Farmer Jack, and the timing was perfect because it had been gone for like 10 years. And that came to me in the work truck one day when we were at Kroger, and I said something about, you guys remember Farmer Jack? And that came to my head because it was the kids these days will never know thing had kind of just stopped trending. So I threw that out there. Kids these days will never know. And it was the Farmer Jack logo. And that sent Michiganders crazy.
All right.
Because it was, for people, they just loved it. Everybody loved Farmer Jack.
Have you seen the TV show called Detroiters on Comedy Central?
I heard of it. I never actually watched it.
You gotta watch it. Anyways, so do you have any plans? I mean, you can't plan anything to go viral, but you obviously plan that bathing suit in the snow thing. Do you have something in store that you're kind of waiting to bring out?
Well, it was the bathing suit in the snow thing wasn't really planned. It just started snowing that day, and I remember I had one from the year before where I was laying out in the snow that I made because my friend was, the reason behind it was my friend was in Florida. So that started as a Snapchat to my friend that was in Florida, and I was like, I'm just out here catching the rays. And a lot of people laughed at it, thought it was funny, not as much as the other one. But I said, this is the first snowfall of the year. I'm going to do something like that again. And I have a plan to continue that series when snow falls this year. And I won't disclose too much, but I've got to get somebody with a camera, and it's going to have to do with sunbathing somewhere very, very public and very iconic to people in Detroit, with high traffic around the Christmas season, hopefully if it's snowing or had snowed.
All right. Hey, be careful. Okay?
Yep.
Vodka versus tequila.
Vodka. Because tequila makes me throw up as soon as it touches my lips.
You already eliminated tequila, so That was an easy one. All right, dark rum versus bourbon whiskey.
Dark rum.
All right, our championship, vodka versus dark rum. We'll get to that later. So, Mike, 50,000 tweets. I'm not sure I know anyone with more. So, I mean, how early do you wake up and do you tweet?
Well, I wake up for work every day at about 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not the greatest sleeper. So I wake up periodically throughout the night. And I guess anytime after 3 a.m., if I wake up, I'll wake up out of a sleep and I'll just be laying there trying to fall back asleep and something will pop into my head and I'll tweet it at 4 a.m. whether anybody's up watching, paying attention or anything. I don't care. If I have to get that off of my brain to help me sleep, I do that. So it can start from 4 to 6 a.m. is when my tweets for the day start.
You see any comparisons with you and the president?
A lot, actually.
A lot. So, Mike, I've known you for a while through the great sport of wiffle ball, one of two people banned from WSCM, but we won't talk about that. Mike, you called me one day to tell me, hey, Carl, thanks for encouraging me to do stand-up. Are you still doing that today?
I haven't done it in a while, but I watch a lot of podcasts with Joey Diaz and Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan. And there's a lot of mixtures of them saying, just go and do it, just go and do it. But then I see guys like Joey Diaz that say, you do it when you get pushed hard enough to do it, you'll do it, and you'll have enough to talk about. And I've noticed a lot of these comedians that have created this buzz for themselves in this recent day and age had lived long, regular lives that gave them the content, and they got to experience life and experience things that sent them into where they are now. Sometimes it just takes time, and I still write. I still have a notepad full of things that I think about, and I'll write it down, and all the stories that I have as I go through the day about, when I go to the strip club and something ridiculous happens, and I write it down, and I'll go back and I'll adjust it and I'll fix little things and I'll try and find punchlines for stuff. It's all still a work in progress.
Mike, I still don't understand how we're friends. We're very different people, but I'm really glad you joined the show, and I hope you have you on again. And you ready for this championship matchup, vodka versus dark rum?
Yes.
What do you got and why?
Dark rum, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a deeper meaning behind it. So I've spent the majority of my life sneaking booze from when I was a kid all the way into being a grown-up when you're in the vehicle, not driving, because I don't drink and drive, but when I'm in the passenger seat of someone's vehicle. I've noticed that if I buy Captain Morgan, a pint of Captain Morgan, and a liter of Coke, I have a mathematic, algebraic, calculated way that I pour the Coke out just enough to where I can pour the entire pint of Captain Morgan into the Coca-Cola bottle, and I go undetected from everybody. Everybody thinks I'm drinking Coke. Hey, can I have a sip of your Coke? No, you can't have a sip of my Coke. I'm sorry. And they think I'm being greedy, but I'm not going to dose anybody with booze while they're driving. But that's my way of sneaking it by. If we're going downtown and I want to pregame, I have my little mathematic equation. I pour out X amount of Coke, and there's a little invisible line that I have drawn on the Coca-Cola bottle that I just know, and I pour the whole pint of Captain in it, and I go undetected. Undetected, like the Russians being involved with Donald Trump's election.
That's Mike Bayley voting. He picked dark rum, which was the 2 seed. Good choice, not a bad choice. If vodka's my 1 seed, I'm a vodka guy, but hey man, you picked my number 2 seed. I'm okay with that. So Mike, are you worthy of the throne of awesome? And let's cue the sound effects. Yes, you are. Why? Good guest. You answered all the questions, and you successfully achieved the 60-second challenge. Mike Bayley, I'd love to make you a regular. This is a new show. You have a lot of followers. I hope you retweet when I publish it. Any last words?
I will absolutely retweet it. And I'll go on to tweet about it probably 5 times this evening because this was one of the most interesting podcasts. It wasn't elongated. It wasn't overscripted. And you allowed me to just be me, and I appreciate that. I've been on a lot of podcasts where I get confined and I'm forced to talk about things that I'm not really interested in, that I don't care about, or that people really don't want my opinion on. But this was a very fun podcast. I really appreciated you having me on.
No joke. I've been doing podcasts for 7.5 years, which is kind of crazy. Mostly about some really silly sport, which I somehow got a following from. So, this is a lot of fun to talk about anything else except for that sport. And you were a great guest. And yeah, I'll have you on again. So that's Mike Bayley. You can follow him at Twitter, Orbis Ducks _, correct?
Yes.
ORBISDUX _. He's a good follower. If you're a churchy person, maybe not, but he's a good guy. He is. He's friends with me. I would tell you not. Otherwise, if he was a dick. Good guy, Mike Bayley. My favorite Mike Bayley story, I'm going to say it real quick. You come to a wiffle ball tournament where we're giving free waters to the players. And the guy running the tournament who got all the waters had to cut you off or just tell you to stop drinking water because you had 30 water bottles around you. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
We talk about it all the time. We call it the Mike Bayley rule. We're like, all right, because we still do the tournament, and we're like, don't let the non-players take too many waters. The Mike Bayley rule.
You know what? I'm just making my mark everywhere, whether it's for things I want to or things I didn't want to. Hey, it was either that or I passed out on the field because I drank too much beer the night before. So
who thought
I apologize to Mike Sessions again. I bought him 2 cases of water and brought them to a game and the regular season afterwards to show my apologies. And they said that's still not enough.
Not many people get in trouble for drinking water. So that's Mike Bayley for you. All right. I'll stop blabbing. Anyway, so for Mike Bayley, I'm Carl Coffey. We'll talk to you next time. See you.